Nice Sunsplash day here at Leon J. Breen Field at the WTFDvsMAINE Center in Bristol, Connecticut, as final preparations being made for Game 2 of our quadruple header here in the New England Regional, as Maine and Connecticut both continuing on the road to Williamsport. And we welcome you to ESPN's coverage of the Little League World Series New England Regional as Waterford, Connecticut and Biddeford, Maine in an elimination game here from Bristol, Connecticut. And with the brackets set earlier today, Cranston, Rhode Island advancing past Newton, Massachusetts with a 7-run victory. Winner of today's game will match up with Cranston Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. And welcome everyone alongside Chip Frederick. I'm John Brickley. We're glad to have you with us. Both Maine and Connecticut have one thing in common, Chip, and they want to get bad losses out of the way here today.
Both had some bad losses, big-time bad losses. 16-1 yesterday was that situation with Connecticut coming up in a loss, and then you had Maine on the opening night getting whitewashed 11-0. So a lot to play for still, though, in this double elimination tournament. They can still battle back and get back with the winners in the upper bracket.
So Connecticut with back-to-back games. As for Maine, they've had some time off since Monday, meaning pitching is going to be a key factor in this one for both managers.
We've talked all week. Pitching is paramount, and you got to have depth. You can't have enough pitching. And we'll see if these two teams have enough pitching, because we had 5 pitchers go yesterday for Connecticut. So we'll see how they respond. Both teams respond.
Jared Burrows, who put together the complete game performance. As you look at the numbers, just one pitcher used. That was Burrows in the win versus Rhode Island. Wednesday, though, a much different story. 5 pitchers used that gave up 13 runs in that 16-1 to defeat at the hands of New Hampshire. It's a beautiful afternoon for baseball fans, packing the stadium here at the WTFDvsMAINE Center in Bristol. When we come back, first pitch, Waterford, Connecticut, Biddeford, Maine, right here on ESPN3 as we continue on the road to Williamsport. here in Bristol, Connecticut for the Little League World Series on ESPN, ESPN3. And it's been a long day for everybody. Get the cleats shined up, ready to go here for game 2 of our quadruple header. A little bit of a hot one in Bristol.
Getting toweled off there.
And as we take a look at this division at a glance, the modified double elimination format. This is a elimination game between Maine and Connecticut, where ages range from 11 to 13 years old. You cannot have turned 13 before May 1st. 2/3 conventional field size, 225 deepest part of the ballpark, with a 6-inning game and mandatory playing rules in effect as well. As we start things off, Jared Burrows, shortstop who had thrown the complete game in the win on Monday over Rhode Island, matching up with the starter and Matt Roselle, 5'5", 107 pounds. Quickly down in the count, 2-0. Favorite pitcher, Clayton Kershaw. You know what happened last night, Chip, for Clayton Kershaw by chance?
Lay it on me.
6th straight year of at least 200 strikeouts.
Pretty impressive there.
The only reason I know that is I was at the office last night. The Maine team looking to rebound after a 11-0 defeat at the hands of Massachusetts, who lost today to Rhode Island in game 1, as Burrows lost one to right out of the reach of the right fielder, Aiden Donovan. And Burrows heading to third with a stand-up triple to lead things off for Waterford.
Burrows hits this opposite field, John, and it's just barely fair, as Donovan can't come up with it. Had a lot of real estate to cover there in the outfield, so leadoff triple.
As Ryan Salvador, Waterford, Connecticut's second baseman, first pitch swinging. Both these teams trying to erase bad memories of bad losses for Waterford. A 16-1 defeat at the hands of Bedford, New Hampshire, who looked very impressive. 14 runs they were able to produce in the first 3 innings.
Had that first night of the tournament, the prime game, Connecticut and Rhode Island, standing room only, all that emotion, and then yesterday just the bottom fell out. So they definitely want to redeem themselves and try to get that rematch.
Waterford, the hometown favorites, 58 miles from Bristol. Biddeford, Maine, just a hair longer at 202 miles. The 2-1 offering. Salvador lines that one into center field. That'll play Burrows. Salvador heading into second with an RBI double. Back-to-back hits to start things off for Connecticut.
This ball is laced as well into the gap left center. It is paramount, I think, John. Maine is going to have to keep things at bay here to a minimum in the first inning. We're talking again, it was an embarrassing loss yesterday by Connecticut. They are going to come out hungry.
Throw the curve, don't show it so much. All right, okay? All right, let's go. On 3, team, 1, 2, 3.
Manager Josh Edgerton trying to rally his players. Down 1-0 early on. Pretty cool hats if you think Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
Biddeford, Maine.
Now batting number 2.
Like the look.
Their home orange, Connecticut in their road blue. As Sokolsky stepping up and taking a first pitch strike. First league from southeastern Connecticut to represent the state since 2000, when Old Lyme did so.
Look at Maine's road to get here. They won 5 games in the district and then 4 in the state.
As Sokolsky swats that one away.
Connecticut had a little harder road to get here. They're now 14-3. They had 3 tournaments they had to win. Districts divisional, and then they won the state. 2 losses along the way.
A 3-2 win to start things off on Monday. Then losing 16-1 to New Hampshire, who by all accounts could be the favorite to come out of the New England region. And it's been a region that's been dominated by Rhode Island and Connecticut. Ground ball, play with the infield single and the slide into third as Salvador with a heads-up base running move. As Kobe Laverriere couldn't get the put out at third.
This ball gets up on him quick. Nice wheels there. Salvador. Excuse me, Sokolsky.
So Sokolsky gets on for the third straight hit to begin this one for Waterford, and Ryan O'Connell, the third baseman, in at the cleanup spot. Already a run on 3 hits for Connecticut. 5'9", 135 pounds. That one gets past the catcher, and that one will have Salvador coming in, sliding safely for the second run to come across as Ashton Crowell could not handle the pitch by Roselle, and it's a 2-0 advantage.
Heads up by Ryan Salvador. Breaking all the way when he saw that ball hit off the shin guards of the catcher, Ashton Crowell. He was off to the races. Good heads-up play, always alert.
2-0 lead. As Sokolsky in at second now with nobody out. And that one nearly gets O'Connell.
Saw a lot of hit batsmen. Watch here. Oop. Behind him. A lot of hit batsmen the first couple days of this tournament. Haven't seen any today.
And Roselle on 4 straight pitches walks O'Connell. And there's 2 on with nobody out. For the number 5 hitter, the left fielder, Trey Brennan.
Now batting for Connecticut, number 26, Trey Brennan.
Good look at Matt Roselle peering over that mitt. A lot of pitchers do that.
Nice breaking ball in for a called strike.
Of course, you see a lot of big league. It just transcends down through the age groups. A lot of pro players peer, cover up that face. There's our hit batsman.
And the first one of the day, first one of this game, in fact, for Connecticut, that loads the bases. And not the type of start Roselle and Biddeford, Maine wanted to have to begin things here in the top of the first.
No, 19 pitches, 2 runs, and the bases are loaded, but nobody out.
Yeah, come on over. And but you were thinking, oh, he's going to throw me a curve. That's like those thoughts got.
Let me have the ball. Curtis, go. You go to second base, Matty. Okay? Let's go. Let's go. We just need outs. Just need outs. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
And already Maine making a pitching change, down 2-0 with the bases loaded and no one out. Back to Bristol in this elimination game in just a moment. Little League has been strengthening communities, building friendships through teamwork, and providing fun competition for over 7 decades. Little League, the world's largest organized youth sports program with over 2 million kids and 1 million volunteers. To learn more about Little League, visit www.llbws.org or follow them with the hashtag LLWS. And our thanks to all the men and women who volunteer to make this great event here at the Giamatti Center in Bristol a reality, including the umpires, all 6 whom are volunteers. Home plate umpire Edward Hastings, as a new pitcher Curtis Egerton starts things off here. Still no one out for Connecticut with the bases loaded, and Robert Zawacki coming up, the center fielder here for Waterford.
So Biddeford coach Josh Egerton hands the ball over to his son.
He tried to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, came over from second base.
And first pitch swinging, that one looped into shallow right. That drops in for a base hit, gets away from Donovan. 2-run score. Now here comes a third one as Brennan comes in. The play to third, and it's a stand-up triple for Robert Zawacki here as Connecticut has broken it wide open with a 5-run first.
Second triple of the afternoon for Connecticut. This one down the right field line. And it is fumbled down there, which enables the runner to reach third standing up. Nice job there by Zawacki, running the bases.
This crowd couldn't handle the pitch there by Egerton. No advancement on the play, and 5-0 advantage, the type of start Waterford wanted to come out with Rhode Island already waiting in the wings after their 7-run defeat of Newham, Massachusetts. And the pitch to Ben Jerome, number 7 hitter in this lineup, manager Tim Burrows.
John, what it also comes down to is, pitching maintenance for Connecticut, trying to save as many arms as they can. So they're going to probably try to stick with one pitcher if they can. Put up as much offense as they can too early.
Jerome fouls that one away. I'd like to see somebody watch Law and Order at that age. As Jerome here with nobody out, and Wacky on third. Maine, who lost 11-0 in their opening game to Newton, Mass. Here in this modified double elimination format. And Jerome goes opposite way in the left for the base hit, as that'll bring home another run as Zawacki touches home. A 6-0 advantage on the RBI single here by Jerome.
Now batting for Connecticut, number 14, Connor Fidel.
Already 6-0. Want to update you on what the 10-run rule indicates. If one team has a lead of 10 or more after the 4th inning, the game ends. If the home team is behind by 10, must complete their half inning of offense.
Ashton Crowell been busy back there in this first inning. Catcher spot.
There's the number 8 hitter, the pitcher for Waterford, Connor Bedezwa. Heading the count 2-0. Still nobody out in the top half of this first inning.
Bedezwa was the winning pitcher for Connecticut in their district finals and state final games.
Gets him on the outside corner. At this point right now, if you're Maine, what do you have to do to try to regroup?
Man, you got to start by just getting outs, single outs. I mean, have something positive happen for you, because right now the outcome looks pretty bleak. Got to have something positive. Get an out, maybe turn a double play.
2-1 offering. All with the nice Stop in front, makes it a 3-1 count. In terms of visits to the mound, on the third visit to a pitcher in an inning, the pitcher must be removed. On the fourth in a game, the pitcher must also be removed as well.
Lots of rules in Little League Baseball that are different than mainstream baseball that you might see, professional baseball. We got the mandatory play rule, pitch counts, substitution rules, coach visit rules, all sorts of intricacies that are different.
So after the meeting on the mound, broken up by home plate umpire Edward Hastings. 3-1 count to Connor Bedezwa. Still nobody out. Jerome came up with that RBI single to right on first. That one misses high, and a walk allowed by Curtis Egerton, and there's 2 on and nobody out, and the number 9 hitter and the right fielder Matt Sanford. A roster for Connecticut that's primarily made up of veterans, mostly 12-year-olds. You have 1 or 2 that are 13. But a nice, good core put together for manager Tim Burrows. His team is out to a 6-0 advantage. Favorite athlete, Rob Gronkowski. Patriots season opener tonight against the Packers. You know, one person that's not going to be there. Tom Brady continues to fight his appeal on Deflategate as Sanford. The ground ball, play off to second, and they get the force out as Alex McLivy with a nice put out.
Boy, Tom Brady's just aged, gosh.
Yeah, judging by the sketch artists. My goodness. It's like that scene from Indiana Jones. He takes a sip of the cup. I mean, there's at one point, that's what Brady looked like from the sketch artist view. And they have him interviewed. And she says it's very hard to detail good-looking people.
That's a reach.
So back to the top of the order. And Burrows led things off with a stand-up triple. And speaking of Tom Brady, Burrows' favorite athlete.
You know, what she should do next time that if there's another trial, or she ought to make him do the sketch, make him look really good looking, and then everybody around him so he'll stand out, you know. I'm sure she'll have some fun with it.
2-0 count now. Egerton falling behind. Runners at the corners and 1 out for Burrows. And a 6-0 lead. This is low at the knees. 3-0. Quick check back to first. And under the tag was Sanford. Reached on a fielder's choice.
Definitely not what Maine wanted here to start things off. Lost 11-0 in their first game to Massachusetts, and now they're down 6-0. Got to get their heads up. It's a lonely feeling, John, to be out there when this happens, especially in the pitcher's mound, where the game only begins when you allow it to begin. You're the pitcher, the focal point's on you, and it's, you know that all the eyes are on you. It's a lonely, deflating feeling at this age. The emotions get the best of these kids.
So walk now drawn by Burrows loads the bases. Here with 1 out and a 6-0 advantage.
Are they're fixing the bases. These bases are not anchored down like in other forms of baseball. Do that for the safety, so if someone slides hard into the bag, it'll pop up. What they call them, pop-up bases. Obviously.
Unlike the professionals that get switched every half inning.
Brand new bases with cameras on them.
That's Ryan Salvador, who came up with the RBI double that scored Burroughs. Now the grounder to third. Nobody's there at the base as a run will score in the form of Jerome. Everyone is safe, and it's a 7-0 lead now for Connecticut.
Now batting for Connecticut.
Just out of the outstretched arms, and as you said, John, nobody there to cover. That's a tough play. Too far away for Gonneville shortstop to make the play, cover.
And so that'll bring up Zukolski, who had the RBI single earlier in this inning. They batted around. And this one lofted high to deep left field. But underneath to make the beautiful diving grab in left was Cody Albert. And tagging from third and scoring is Sanford. And it's an 8-0 lead now for Connecticut.
This ball was hot off the bat.
Now batting number 10.
Thought it had a chance, and it drifted just in fair territory. Let's watch. Hear that aluminum bat sound. Good catch by Cody Albert.
And Maine is looking for any type of motivation at this point, down 8-0 in the first. 2 away for O'Connell, who drew a walk, also scored a run in this first inning. Pitch swinging. Taken by Egerton. Fool him on the pitch.
Lots of father-son involvement at this regional. We've seen it almost every game where one of the head coach's son plays.
In there for a called strike, and head of the count. 0-2 is Egerton. Just barely getting a piece of it. O'Connell will keep himself alive at 0-2. 8 runs, 6 hits here in this first inning for Connecticut.
Notice the stance there by Crowell, the catcher. He was basically standing up there, John, with the target.
Well, when you're 5'10", you got a big strike zone. Egerton with the offering. Liner past the shortstop, Gonneville, and that's going to bring home another run in the form of Burroughs. And so it's a 9-0 advantage on the RBI double here by O'Connell.
Watch his bat speed here by
Now
O'Connell.
batting number 26, Trey Brennan.
Quick through the strike zone. Big strong kid. Hits himself a double.
As Trey Brennan, who was hit by a pitch, stands in there. 2 outs and runners at second and third. A 9-0 lead for Connecticut. Both these teams really coming off tough losses. Maine 11-0 to Massachusetts. We mentioned Connecticut, the 16-1 defeat to the hands of New Hampshire. But if you're Waterford, manager Tim Burroughs, you have to be ecstatic with the type of response your players have been able to put together. As Brennan lost one out of the reach of the center fielder, Kelly. That'll bring home 2 runs as O'Connell and Salvador both score. 11-0 Waterford in front here in Bristol.
Hit parade continues, back-to-back doubles. Another good square up. And not a lot of balls hit lightly in this inning, John. That's the thing. They're all hard hit balls by this Connecticut team.
So Wacky, who had the bases clearing triple, 3-run triple. Favorite player Mike Trout. 11-0 lead to work with. And he lost one to shallow right, in on the play. And Donovan to finally retire the side. Connecticut making a statement in the first inning. 11 runs here in Bristol. Earlier today in game 1 of this New England Regional elimination bracket, we saw home run power on full display by Cranston, Rhode Island. Nick Mason with a grand slam. David Marchetti would add a 2-run shot in the 6th inning, and that would follow up by Jared Olson. Back-to-back home runs, 3 total for this Cranston team as they keep their hopes alive for a trip to Williamsport with the 7-run victory over Newton, Massachusetts. They move on and await the winner of Waterford, Connecticut and Biddeford, Maine. And for Connecticut, a possible rematch in Friday's action here in this New England Regional.
Be interesting to see. That was a tight game here on Monday. Standing room only crowd. Both fan bases were into it. And Connecticut winning 3-2.
Here's a look at the starter for Waterford, Connor Bedeswa, who lasted a third of an inning, allowed 3 earned runs, 1 hit, 23 pitches in the 16-1 loss to New Hampshire.
And John, this is something to ponder here with the score being what it is, but it's strategy, so we got to talk about it. If you're on the Connecticut side, if you're Tim Burrows, why wouldn't you pitch a guy who, you know, if a guy who's maybe 8th, 9th pitcher on your staff to save arms and save innings? I'm sure that it's going through their minds with these pitch counts.
That's a ground ball by Matt Roselle. Gets through for a base hit, so a nice start for Maine here in the bottom half of the inning with the leadoff single.
And you do see that in a lot of these games. If they get out of control early, you will see a starter get lifted. And for no reason, not that he's doing badly, just for the fact of, you know, there's a lot more games to be played.
There's a good point made as well about keeping the limit maybe 20, 25 pitches, maybe 30, so that you can still use these guys with the pitch count rules as they stand. But in essence, like a guy like Burrows, who had the complete game win versus Rhode Island, you can save him for another day with the lead that you built up. Curtis Egerton, originally slated the second baseman, now in a relief appearance as Bedeswa works the inside corner. And that's where the strategy of a game within a game plays out so importantly for these managers, is the fact that you have to make sure that you are abiding by the pitch count rules. "85 pitches is the max that a pitcher may throw, and anything over 66, you got 4 days of rest. And that's where that 1 to 20 threshold really becomes an important factor within a lead of 11. Deswa gives up back-to-back singles here as Egerton goes the opposite way. So Maine trying to come up with a little bit of life with back-to-back singles to start the first.
Maine showing some fight. That's good to see. Let's see if Tommy Gonaville Jr. can get things continued. Yeah, high strike there. Catcher was standing up as well there. Ben Jerome up out of his crouch, wanted the ball high in the strike zone, and he got it high in the strike zone. But Edgerton does a good job of lifting it to right center field.
First pitch swinging for Tommy Gonaville Jr. Another Tom Brady fan, 5'6" he stands, 110 pounds. For this Biddeford team, he's got the first 2 base runners on board. Quickly falling behind 0-2. Just swatting that one away as Deswa quickly working from the mound here in the start for Waterford.
And couldn't ask for a better day weather-wise. Humidity's way down. Of course, I'm from the south. I'm used to this. Humidity is something we live with down in Tennessee.
And the 1-2 offering, chop foul. Always great food down in the south as well. Great football. Hospitality as well. Outside of the long rides away from the airport, specifically like Jackson, Mississippi to Mississippi State. And the punch out by Bodeswa, the first out of this bottom half of the inning. Brings up Scott Kelly, the center fielder, in the cleanup spot. I remember my time in the South. I got called a Yankee more time than I can recall. I said, well, what gives it away? They go, everything. Absolutely everything. That one gets past Jerome as both runners will advance.
So second and third, 1 out. Let's see if Maine can scratch out some runs here.
First trip to Bristol for this Maine team since 2013, when East and West Biddeford merged together to form Biddeford Little League. Most of these players have been teammates since the 9 and 10 division, as Des was pitched in there for a called strike.
That junior division, that 9-10 division, we've seen a lot this week. Teams that have built their squads, playing together as 9 and 10-year-olds, staying together through the Little League lower divisions, and then having some success and building on it, playing here in Bristol after their success in that division.
Ashton Crowell, the catcher here for Maine, in a big-time spot. Bases loaded and only 1 out. Ball gets past Jerome, no advancement by the runners. Nice response, though, here by Maine. Gave up 11 in the first, and were able to get the first 2 base runners on board, and now have loaded the bases. Fluffy, great nickname. We've heard some great superstitions and great nicknames fluffy boy. That and J Money might be my two favorites. 2-1 offering.
The meat.
The meat was another good one. Yes, that was a really good one. One in there at the knees. Full count. Birthday yesterday for Crowell. This one rounded to short. On to first. Can't beat the throw. And so a run comes across on the fielder's choice. And so Maine responds with a run here in the bottom half of the inning.
Go ahead. Time is out.
As Russell comes in to score. And a first-time mound visit for Tim Burrows.
Not your day. Go make a play
And
third, okay?
we talked about that strategy.
All right, buddy.
Connor Bedezwa, his day is done. So both starting pitchers can't get past the first inning, as Ryan O'Connell will be the new pitcher when we come back. Connecticut in front of Maine, 11-1. Ryan O'Connell, the new pitcher, as Waterford and Connor Pedezza's day is done. And since it didn't reach the threshold of 20 or more, he will have 0 days rest. So a little bit of strategy here in effect for Waterford manager Tim Burrows.
It started the batter under the threshold. So, and as we talked, it sounds like that's what Tim Burrows had in mind. He wanted to make, you heard him tell Pedezwa, just wasn't your day, kid. Don't worry about it. But a combination probably of that and strategy for the rest of the tournament.
As Pedezwa moves to third, Hayden Donovan, the right fielder, here with runners at the corners and one out. Egerton on third. Crowell on first, reaching on the fielder's choice. As O'Connell now evens up the count, 2-2. So O'Connell, 25 pitches yesterday. Finished the batter yesterday, so didn't have to rest as a result. And now that's an added bonus for manager Tim Burrows. You see the numbers he put together against New Hampshire, one of 5 pitchers used in the loss.
Could be a situation with O'Connell too that Coach Tim Burrows wants to get him back out there on the mound and have some success after his rough outing yesterday. I like that move.
Payoff pitch, and O'Connell gets Donovan swinging to end the inning. So one run across for Maine as Maine trails by 10 here in Bristol to Waterford. we take a closer look at Waterford, Connecticut, the first Southern East team in the state to represent Connecticut since Old Lyme in 2000. And this team trying to do what Westport, Fairfield has done in 2 of the last 3 years, and that's represent New England in Williamsport. Last year it was Cumberland, Rhode Island, and our colleague Dave Belisle leading that group, as Westport was 2013, Fairfield in 2012. And so a strong start for Tim Burrows. That's a 10-run advantage as we move to the top of the second. Brady Wilds, the new pitcher, in for Maine, who has already used now their 3rd pitcher here in this second inning.
Good look at the crowd here today. Sunsplash crowd, everybody taking in the sights, taking advantage of this low humidity. Here's Brady Wiles, his numbers against Massachusetts the other day on Monday. 2 1/3, 4 hits, 2 runs that were earned. He threw 37 pitches on Monday. Had 1 strikeout, no walks. See his stats there. Big kid, 6 foot, 120 pounds, and he has turned 13 years already.
Now batting number 21.
So that'll bring up the catcher, Ben Jerome. 1 for 1 with an RBI single in that 11-run first inning. As Jerome leads things off here in the second with a base hit up the middle, 2 for 2 to begin this game. Verrier, meanwhile, moving to right for Biddeford.
Now batting number 14, Hunter Pedeswa.
It's Pedeswa, who is the starter. Moving over to third base, makes his 3rd plate appearance. That one grounded right back to the pitcher. The play to second off the mark. And so both runners are safe here in this second inning with nobody out. So a little bit of a changeup here for Waterford with the 10-run lead, and Matt Sanford stepping to the plate.
Special pitch runner number 11, Michael Morelli. And now
So now a special
number 4,
pitch runner in
Matt
effect,
Sanford.
as Michael Morelli will so first and second is Morelli, the pinch runner, at first. As Wild set to pitch. Sanford, first pitch swinging. And rounding third and backtracking back is Jerome. And that line drive brought Wilds bound to his backside.
Yeah, the ball was laced.
Number 12,
Kind of surprises Wilds here as it gets by him. You know, these distances, 46 feet. And I told you, John, I went out on the field 2 days ago and stood out there as Glory Days played by Bruce Springsteen in my head. Thinking about when I was 12 years old.
Go.
No, but I did see, and it's close. And you got these kids who are 6 feet tall, 5'10", pitching at that distance. It can be intimidating. They're bringing it. And the reaction time is, when they're throwing it as hard as they are, it's very similar to a major league fastball. Sometimes when they get the ball in the upper 60s, low 70s, that translates into the upper 80s from a 60 feet 6 inches of regulation baseball.
So Jared Burrows, the leadoff man, here with the bases loaded and nobody out. Started everything off with a leadoff triple. Missing high is Wilds, who's trailing in the count 2-0.
You talk about speeds and reaction time. With all these players in pro baseball, college, you got some kids in high school throwing 90 plus.
And the ground ball off the foot of Wilds, and everyone is safe as a run comes across. And Jerome makes it now a 12-1 advantage for Waterford.
Tough 2 at bats here for Brady Wilds. One zooms right past him, his head, and that one hits him on the ankle. They're going to check him out. Yep, right there. That can be tender. But back to my point, when all these kids throwing in the 90s and low 90s, upper 90s, but you talk to professionals and people there's a huge difference between throwing, the low 90s is one thing, but when you start getting in the 96, 97 miles an hour range and you talk to good hitters, it's really about guessing. You're guessing at spots, where to swing. You're sitting there going, all right, I'm going to swing at a spot. I mean, because these guys, I mean, it's reaction time. I mean, it's literally, and then you get the, 101, the rarity of that, of those guys who can throw 100 plus.
As Ryan Salvador steps in, bases loaded, and he gets hit by a pitch, and another run comes across. As in to score is the pinch runner Morelli. 13-1 as Wilds has just been having some issues. Ducked out of the way of a line drive, then got hit on the last batter, and then now just hit Salvador to load the bases. Still nobody out.
Wonder if that leg is a little tender still. See him, he's kind of limping a little bit. We got 2 people limping. We got Wilds at the pitcher's mound, and then
Now batting number 2.
Salvador on first base, stretching that knee out.
As Luke Sokolsky steps into the batter's box. Still nobody out in this top of the second. And now the grounder to short. Steps on the back to second. Safe at first as another run comes across. There's Gonville with a nice put out with one away. However, Waterford with Sanford coming across makes it 14-1. Fielder's choice getting Sokolsky on with runners at the corners. And the pitcher Ryan O'Connell stepping to the plate.
See if Wilds can rebound here. Got himself a ground ball. See if he can get another or punch out. Here's your ground ball.
Ground ball to second. They flip over to second for the nice 4-6-3 double play to get out of the inning. But Connecticut backs on 3 more. They lead at 14-1 here in the second.
I'm going to bring back with me something that no other team can provide but you guys. That's pride. We get one shot to get it right. We get one shot, so hold on tight. We get one shot, so you have the whole place jumping. Want to know why? They're like sportsmen. They're like guys who don't quit. They're like guys who play the game the right way. That's us. We'll be the boys of summer.
And the road to Williamsport continues August 20th through the 30th, presented by Frosted Flakes. Various ESPN platforms. Here on ESPN3, we've got the Mid-Atlantic Regional coming up before Eastern Time. York Haven out of Pennsylvania set to take on Jackson, New Jersey. The final game of the night, the winner's bracket of this New England Regional, will feature Bedford, New Hampshire, and South Burlington, Vermont. O'Connell back to work here to start off the inning, and Alex McLivy starting things off. Back-to-back innings with the leadoff man on for Maine.
Good to see Alex get a base hit.
As McLivy on, Albert. Cody Albert, the left fielder, steps to the plate.
It's one thing in situations like this, you always like seeing the team keep battling, keep working, not giving up. All these teams are state champions, had successful seasons. Sometimes things just don't work out for whatever reason, pitching depth. This is an angry Connecticut team after the way they were handled yesterday.
1-2 offering from O'Connell. Swung on and missed, and first punch out for O'Connell. Excuse me, the second one for O'Connell. And so Connecticut with their first out here in the second.
Number 22, Will Herman.
Toby LaVerriere comes up to the plate here with one out and a runner on. Kobayashi is what they call him on the team. That's a good nickname. That might be my third favorite. That has to be up there. As Jerome can't handle the pitch, advancing to second. McAlevey here with one away in scoring position.
I'm going to try to be relevant here. I don't want to say that. He's the hot dog guy, right?
He is the hot dog.
I want to.
Yeah, he's not a rapper. I didn't think you would go down that route. The slow roller to first. That will be foul. Evens up the count at 2-2.
I actually watched that this year. It's kind of one of those things that's on. You know, you turn it on.
It's like a Christmas story during Christmas Day. It's must-watch television. But the key, from what I've been told, is you have to dip it in water.
Oh yeah, that's what they
say. The bread you have to dip in water.
And the amazing thing, they practice that. They practice.
Oh, yeah.
There's not just like a one. I mean, they go through practice sessions.
Well, and the best part with working at ESPN, research gives you all these different packets of like the PGA Championship, of Little League World Series, of the World Series. They have a packet of the hot dog eating contest. They break down year by year. Joey Chestnut, how many years he's won in a row.
But I think it's not like when I say they practice, it's like a marathon. You don't practice a full marathon. You always build up to it. So, but they go out there and they maybe eat sessions of 25 to 30 hot dogs.
Can you imagine just grilling in the backyard with friends and family and they come over?
Oh man.
And as we work through this timeout, a mandatory play rule, just an update for you, 13 or 14 players. Each player has to bat once. When a team has 12 or less, 6 consecutive defensive outs, and bat at once throughout the game. So a challenge for managers, nonetheless. And so a pinch hitter coming up in the form of Will Harriman. Pinch hitting for LaVerriere. So Full count now with one away. And that ground ball right up the middle, through for a base hit. That'll bring home a run as well as McAlevey touches home, and Maine back on the board, down 14-2. So the RBI single that scores McAlevey, and as a result, advancing to second is Harriman.
See the throw in here to home, and we have seen a lot of that. Failure to hit the cutoff man on plays at the plate. These kids, I know their eyes get huge when they think they can make this throw to home, but you always want to hit that cutoff man.
First pitch out of the reach of the diving Burros on the swing by Rosell, and back-to-back runs scoring for Maine. And let the rally begin from the kids for Biddeford here in Bristol.
Maine showing some fight here.
Number 11, Curtis Edgerton.
Aggressive base running, going all the way. 14-3 now.
As Curtis Egerton steps into the plate with a 14-3 deficit. However, you mentioned it, Maine could have easily, after that 11-run first inning, just said, okay, we're going to pack it up, we're going to be done, and let's just get this over with. But they have been fighting and crawling their way back. And no one covering first for the potential double play, although they do get the force out at second. And so now there's two away here in this bottom half of the second.
Number 15, Tommy Gonville Jr.
Gonville Jr. steps to the plate with 2 outs and a runner on first. Connell with the quick delivery in the dirt. Let's Be Cops is his favorite movie. I never saw that one.
All across the board with these favorite songs.
And that one gets through for a base hit into right. So Maine showing some life here with 2 runs in the second. Now have 2 aboard, as that'll bring up the cleanup man and Scott Kelly.
Now batting number 3, Scott Kelly.
First pitch strike by O'Connell. And that ball getting away from Jerome for a moment. Makes it 1-2 with 2 outs.
I think O'Connell might have tried to throw a knuckleball there. He had a.
And this one to second, the pickup as Salvador with the putout to end the inning. Maine gets a couple runs back, trail 14-3 in this elimination game in the New England Regional. Little League provides free web-based training resources to its local leagues, coaches, and parents. Launching in the fall of 2015, Little League will introduce Little League University, an interactive video-based training experience. Visit littleleague.org for more information. And Chip Frederick's going to be the professor at that university, I believe.
I will tell you, over near the concession stands here at the Giamatti Center, they had a bunch of computers lined up. Did you notice that?
Yes, I did.
Is that part of?
It's one of the nice experiences of being a fan here. Getting into all of the resources that the Little League provides for players, coaches, and the fans.
Casual observer might not know that the teams stay here all together. They are fed here and have recreational activities. They have some batting cages and practice fields they can work on as a team, but they are housed together, and it really creates this community festival type atmosphere for this tournament, which of course transcends to the atmosphere they do the same thing at Williamsport. Great idea.
As Brennan with the grounder to short and the throw over to first to retire the first batter here in this third inning. And a nice play by Gonville.
Now batting number 11, Michael Morelli.
Have you gotten any of that fried dough yet?
No, I stick away from fried dough, fried butter, fried pickles.
There's a truck, and it says fried dough at the top, and I noticed that, and I just wasn't gonna go there. I just only imagine, but they had pretzels and fried pretzels. I guess I don't know. Everything's fried in the truck. I guess stay away from that.
As Michael Morelli here with a 14-3 advantage in the top of the third, one away. And trying to go inside was Wild. That one chopped foul. And now it's 2-1.
Look at the stats here. 11 hits for Connecticut, but Maine almost has half as many. Look at the score. It doesn't look like 11-6 on the hits.
Ground ball to the pitcher as Wilds with a nice put out, second out here in this inning.
So if things stay the way they are here, John,
Number 21, Ben Jerome.
regardless, next inning, Maine is going to have to come up 2 runs to keep this ball game going due to the 10-run rule.
Nice curveball in there for a called strike. And this one off the foot of Wilds, able to recover and throw a strike over to first.
Attaboy, Brady.
To get Jerome to end the inning. Nice job by the pitcher Wilds to keep his composure and end the inning for Maine.
Brady Wilds having a tough day out there in his area, but makes the strike for the out.
Welcome back to ESPN's coverage of the Little League World Series here in Bristol, Connecticut. And Jeff Frederick, let's take a look at already the tickets punched to Williamsport. A couple of familiar names, and including Sydney, Australia. They're going to be waiting a while for Williamsport.
Yeah, the last time a team from New South Wales made the tournament, first time a team from New South Wales makes the tournament, in a suburb outside of Sydney, but they finished their national tournament on June the 9th. So they've been sitting around, I'm sure, playing and practicing and scrimmaging, but that was quite a while ago. Of course, it's the dead of winter in Australia now, or coming up on spring, the end of winter. So, but you mentioned, you're right there, John, the familiar names, Tokyo and Chinese Taipei. Canada has yet to crown their champion. That'll be coming up later on this weekend.
And take a look, join the conversation at BBTN, and like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/ESPN Baseball Tonight. So O'Connell set to take the mound once again here in the bottom of the third. So we can tell all the fans, family and friends enjoying themselves here on a beautiful afternoon in Bristol.
Number 23, Ashton Cowell.
So O'Connell set to go, bottom three. As Ashton Crowell stepping to the plate to lead things off for Maine.
So Maine gets the award for the longest distance travel. Did we figure that out? I think so. That makes sense.
And this one lofted high to left and just fouled.
Man, feet.
For the New England region, yes.
Yep.
202 miles.
About a foot or two right there, making the call. One of our 6 umpires during this regional tournament, always on the field, 6. Umpires part of the massive volunteers working this tournament. They are not compensated for anything, not compensated for the travel. They do it all on a volunteer basis.
Number 77, Brady Wild.
As Brady Wild steps to the plate. You don't realize how tall he is until he actually steps into the box.
John actually made an error that last inning, saying this would be the final at bat for Maine, so we need to correct myself there. Am I allowed one mistake?
Oh, absolutely.
10 games? Okay.
10 games, absolutely. Like a fighter in the 12th round right now.
Had a fun couple days here.
It was. It's definitely been enjoyable, that's for sure.
Working with you and Mark, all the great guys and production, camera guys out there, under the umbrella out in center field. We got that going. This sunshine, you get yourself a big time burn out there.
As we take a look at the 10-run rule, one team has a lead of 10 or more after the 4th inning, or 3.5 if the home team is ahead. Maine is the home team today. The game will end. If the home team behind 10 runs, they must complete the half inning. So if it stays as it is, we will definitely have a bottom of the 4th inning. Right back to the pitcher, O'Connell. That retires the side. Connecticut on a roll. 3 innings in the books here in Bristol. Take a look back at the action on Monday here in Bristol as Waterford, thanks to the strong pitching performance from Jared Burrows, able to hold off a stingy Rhode Island team by a final of 3-2. Great atmosphere with both teams come away hard-working, and Cranston earlier winning their game over Newton, Massachusetts. With the score 14-3, if it stands, we're going to have a rematch of these two teams in the Friday 11 a.m. hour in the elimination game for the losers bracket in the New England Regional. And first pitch swinging, and a nice put out here to start things off in this 4th inning.
Good play here. Quick hands by Curtis Edgerton, the coach's son. Solid play there by the second baseman.
As Sanford steps to the plate. Behind the count 0-2. That one flies out here for the second out of this inning. In this elimination game.
Number 12, Jared Burrows.
As Wilds facing the top of the order, and Burrows, I give a lot of credit to Wilds, able to hang in there after a rough 3rd inning in terms of ducking a line drive, taking a hit to the leg, and then able to come up with the put out. And he's been effective now once he's settled in.
Been busy out there. It's no fun feeling like you're a target out there on the mound. Just had a little swing back from the batter on the catcher accidentally. These umpires do a great job of player safety. You've seen several times where they've made players move inside the dugout always checking on the injured players. They've got medical staff here that does that when there's a hit batsman or player gets banged up.
There's the pitch to Burrows, slaps it high and deep the other way, out of the reach of the right fielder Donovan. And now Burrows, rounding third, has a chance for an inside the park home run. Played the plate, not in time, and Burrows slides in safely with the inside the park home run.
It's the first that we've seen here. We've seen some over the fence, but once this ball gets in the corner, I knew it was going to be trouble. And watch him turn on the afterburners as he rounds second and is being waved home the entire way.
Now, the play to center as that one goes in for a base hit. Anthony Canucci here on with 2 outs in the top half of the fourth.
See that smile on the face. That smile definitely wasn't there yesterday, so this Connecticut team getting their confidence back after losing 16-1 yesterday. Very strong New Hampshire club. So we've seen everybody here. Who you think has been the class of the tournament so far in each division, both regions?
I have to say Pennsylvania, without question. I think the way Cole Wagner's been able to pitch is that one taking the back for Sokolsky as he'll reach on. 2 runners here for Waterford on base, 2 outs. Just the way that they were able to dominate in the fashion that they did. I do like Rhode Island. I think Rhode Island could be maybe the dark horse in this New England region.
Things stay the way they are, these Rhode Island and Connecticut would be matched up again.
Low roller to Wilds, the pitcher, to first for the out. That ends the inning. Not before another home run, this time Zach Burrows coming up with the inside the park home run. Beautiful afternoon here in Bristol, Connecticut, where the action on the Little League World Series continues. In the 4 o'clock hour, York Haven, Pennsylvania, and Jackson, New Jersey in the winner's bracket of the Mid-Atlantic Regional, and then Bedford, New Hampshire, South Burlington, Vermont. That'll be a great matchup, 7 Eastern time. Our colleagues Mark Brown and David Belial will have the coverage here on ESPN3. As Donovan steps into the plate. Down by 12. Liam Donovan facing off with O'Connell. And with the 10-run rule in effect, this would be the final inning unless Maine can somehow come back and put 3 runs on the board. High chopper.
Oh, that's a tough play if it's fair. No.
That's just foul. Jerome at the presence, like almost like a running back. Like, where do I go?
I've seen a lot of balls hit right in front of the plate. A lot of plays that have to be made by the catcher and the pitcher all week long.
And the 2-2 pitch lofted right into the glove of Sokolsky for the first out here in the bottom half of the fourth.
Now batting number 22, Will Murray.
So if things stay like this, John, we'd have a rematch between Connecticut and Rhode Island. Probably have another big crowd on hand.
Who do you think you would favor in that matchup?
I don't know, man. That's how the pitching shapes out. You know, I think Rhode Island definitely has the momentum. That was a close game, 3-2 first time out that they met on Monday night. I'm sure it'll be another big crowd.
This one laced, beautiful diving stab, making the play at second base here for Waterford. For the second out, Tanucci showing off some leather with the web gem.
Nice play, young man.
So O'Connell is now going to move over to first base. Now this is where really the pitching eligibility with the pitch count plays a huge factor. In the break, Tim Burrows was saying that get the first two outs, and then once we have an opportunity to pull you, we will. So Sokolsky's going to be the new pitcher here with 2 away, as Maine needs 3 runs to keep this game alive.
Right. If you didn't know that, you would think, well, they're just trying to get this kid some work, but that was all on purpose there to keep his pitch count below that threshold. So
Now
15-3 lead here for Connecticut. Reminder as well, the new $1.8 million Little League Grow the Game grant program was created to provide local leagues the resources they need for general improvement to help recover from a natural disaster and to expand our established Little League Softball, Little League Challenger Division, and the Little League Urban Initiative programs. For more information, visit www.littleleague.org/grow the game. So Connor Pedezwa started this game for manager Tim Burrows. O'Connell was effective in a relief role, and now the third pitcher being used. Here is Sokolsky with 1 out, all he needs to keep the season alive for the boys from Waterford, Connecticut.
Number 46, Matthew
See the
Sauer.
numbers that Sokolsky did, 2/3 of an inning. The appearance versus New Hampshire, and we talk about coming off a tough loss like that, 16-1. What do you make of the bounce back, though, by Waterford here against Maine?
well, Dave Belisle said in the broadcast yesterday that knowing the coaching staff, Tim Burrows, he's familiar with him, he said, you know, he's okay now, but after the game, when he gets his kids on the practice field, they'll be working in the cages. It looks like they definitely did that. Came out swinging, aggressive on the base paths.
As Sokolsky falls behind in the count, 3-1. And the liner into center field. Or rather left center here with 2 outs. As Rosell gets on board with the base hit.
Now batting number 11, Curtis Edgerton.
Egerton here with the plate appearance as a special pinch runner comes in. And that one back-to-back singles. And now rounding second, trying to get into third. Play at third. Safe. Curtis Engel was trying to look for the ball. And there was that little bit of hesitation before the call was officially made.
Little bang bang play at third base. I'm surprised that he tried to stretch it from second to third, and the ball comes out of the mitt. Let's watch it pop out, right? And the slide into the glove. And he's safe.
So runners at the corners. Gonville, the shortstop. And 3 runs are needed to keep this inning and this game alive. One pitch. Gonville, base hit into right. That'll bring home a run. And it's 15-4. And Rosell touches home plate for Biddeford, Maine.
Number 3, Scott Kelly.
Good to see these Maine kids battling. Despite the score, a good year thus far. They're 9-2. During the summer season.
First and second, here's a lofted pitch all the way over, bounces off the wall. 1 run will score. Play to second, and he is out at second base. Scott Kelly trying to stretch it into a double, and that is how it ends here in Bristol as the season for Biddeford, Maine comes to an end with the 15-4 win over Waterford with the 10-run rule in effect.
Let's make sure that the game is, 1 run was definitely counted. And yes, the ball game is over.
So Waterford, Connecticut avenges their 16-1 loss to New Hampshire in convincing fashion as the second run comes in, so officially it's a 15-5 ball game. And that will wrap things up. Chip, very impressive performance put together by this Waterford team.
Well, Connecticut rebounds after their performance yesterday. Good to see that. And, you know, hey, Maine puts out 10 hits today in the losing cause, and good to see those guys stay fighting.
And that sets the stage for tomorrow's game, Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. Cranston, Rhode Island, Waterford, Connecticut in a rematch from Monday's game that was won by Connecticut by a 3-2 score. Once again, our final score, Connecticut with the victory over Maine by a final of 15-5 as Waterford moving on to play Rhode Island in tomorrow's New England Regional Semifinal at 11 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. For Chip Frederick, I'm John Brickley. So long from Bristol, as we will join you later today, 4 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN3 for the Mid-Atlantic Regional as New Jersey takes on Pennsylvania. Again, 15-5, our victory for Waterford.